Two things I'll say before I get started on the game. One, I know we get a lot of money for TV, but our kids go to school, and I get that there's time slots for TV, but these kids, I don't care if they get NIL, they go to school. And this team's been on the road since last Thursday, and now they're playing this game at 8 o'clock at night, which is 10 o'clock their time. It's already 12:30. They got to go to class tomorrow. I just don't understand these, I call it a get-out game. You know, when you're getting out. Like Nebraska should be playing at 6 o'clock. This game, you know. That being said, the other thing I will tell you, as we're getting to the portal, bird rights. Retain your own players, you should be able to go over the cap to retain your own players. Because we should do everything we can to stop these kids from transferring too much, because nobody's going to graduate. And none of you guys have gotten the phone calls that I get. Okay, the guys need jobs when they're 27 and they're done playing in Europe. And they have zero, even the guys that graduate, it's hard. Because we got AI coming, but they have no resume because they've been playing basketball. Now, these kids aren't going to have degrees that are transferring 3 or 4 times, so we got to do everything we can. And, you know, I know there's people at the Big Ten office that are for it. That's why I bring it up. I told them I would back them. Should be able to go over to the revenue share to be able to retain your own players. Anything we can do to try to deter guys from moving so much that they can't possibly graduate, because schools aren't going to bring you back. You're on your 3rd school. They're not going to pay for you to come back when you're 25. You only went here for a year. It's not the same as when, you know, Earl Watson came back. I think when I was here, he was getting his degree, things like that. It's just not the same. Nobody's going to pay for it. They need to get it. So now, because they're getting paid while they're here, schools aren't going to pay for them to come back. And they're all going to be left in the dust, all of them. So very few of these guys are going to be able to retire on this money. So we need to encourage guys not to transfer, so we should be able to go over the cap to retain our players. That said, Nebraska's got a great team. It's the best we've played all year. They brought out the best in us. We went from our worst defensive effort to our best defensive effort. What Coach Hoiberg's done with this group is unbelievable. They out-hustle everybody they play, but tonight they didn't, and that's why we won. They tried to, because they got unbelievable attitude and effort. So impressed with them. So impressed with them. But give our guys the credit. Tonight, we were selfless. We played with toughness.
That's 3 top 10 wins here at Pauley. How do you bottle this up, take it with you the rest of the season to Galen Center?
Since I've been here, we don't lose much at home, my friend. If they'd have called a travel in the overtime, we were up 2 with 20 seconds left, and the guy took 3 steps, we'd be undefeated at home. But anyway, I digress. How do you bottle this effort? Buddy, if we all had that, I saw walking into the arena tonight that Georgetown was beating St. John's, and somebody said St. John's barely come back and won. And I watched St. John's beat Villanova by 30 Saturday. Georgetown's in last in the Big East. I mean, Rick Pitino's the best there is, and he can't bottle it. You know, the answer I tell our guys, we had a heart-to-heart, and I said, look, guys, you know, here's a team. Their record is what it is because their attitude and their effort and their commitment to doing the hard things. I'm so impressed with them. Tonight we were great. If we would just have their attitude, we would have their record. That's my opinion. That being said, while you guys are get the next question ready, we had some guys off the bench. Eric Franey with 6 deflections. He kept some balls alive. We got layups. We had him on Sandiford a lot. He was awesome. Book came in and hit some monster shots. Brandon Williams, unsung hero, 6 and 3, and had a couple wipeouts, got guys layups. So I thought our bench was big tonight, and it hasn't been all year, you know, consistently.
You stole my question. It was about Eric Freeney. Just the energy, defensive
toughness,
energy.
Buddy. Toughness. I'm a big believer in it. That's why I signed him. toughness.
Have you seen more from him?
Yes.
He's getting more minutes. So you've seen
You know,
more from him
I
in practice.
apologize to him and Steve and Brandon in our film session, which was the worst film session I've ever watched with a team in our Minnesota edit, that they should have played. Now, my excuse was we were scoring and we were winning, so and the game was slow, nobody was tired, and they were playing zone, but our defense was so bad, in spite of our shot making, I should have got some guys out, and put them, and definitely Eric Freeney should have got in. But all three of those guys should have got a chance, the way we were defending. The guys on the floor were defending. See, in coaching, you can't talk about stuff and then not be about it. You got to be about it. You play defense or you come out. If you're not about it, nobody's going to believe you. So I apologize to those guys for not getting them in there in the Minnesota game.
Just want to ask two more about Freeney real quick. I mean, the play where he had the ball thrown off his face against SC, I mean, that was such a tone setter for me.
Wasn't it, what was it, the Illinois game where him and Kylan Boswell hit heads and he's just, look guys, Matt Painter said this to me one time about one of my players, Jaron Cumberland, when I signed him. He said if you put both teams, no subs, everybody, in the middle of the court and you drop a ball from the ceiling, who's going to come out with it? On our team, it's Eric Freeney. That's who I'm betting on. You gotta have some guys like that.
Have you ever had a player kind of unlock the way he has this
Yeah,
late
he's a young kid.
This late in the
Yeah.
season?
Yeah, I told him. He was great. The guys will tell you he had a practice where he was unreal 10 days ago or so. And I stopped by. I said, Free, you know, he's in there every morning at 8 o'clock. And I told him. I coached a guy that I redshirted named Sean Kilpatrick, who nobody wanted. No Big East offers. And when I was building at Cincinnati, like we had the plague, nobody was coming. I mean, I recruited a guy for 3 years, and somebody else said hi, he went to the other school. That's how many people wanted Sean Kilpatrick. But he worked, had the same work ethic as Eric Freeney. Now, you can look him up. Him and Oscar Robertson, the only two people that ever scored 2,000 at Cincinnati. Long career, tremendous, just first-team All-American as a senior. There's no substitute for toughness and work ethic. Just look at Tyler Bilodeau. Look at his career. I mean, nobody recruited him.
Coach, you've often said that you can kind of predict how the team is going to perform from game to game. How was it this week? What was practice like this week coming into this game?
I haven't been able to predict it with this team. Just, I'm being honest with you. We had one practice. You know, we play in a league in the Midwest, so, you know, we got back Saturday, and Sunday it's late, it's March. We watched film and had a heart-to-heart about what the problem is. What the problem's been all year for us, to be a great team. So we only had one practice, and then we had our shoot-around today. So guys did a great job. Rod Palmer did a great job with the scout. The guys were locked in. Look, you know, when you play, Sandiford's been unbelievable, guys. So to hold him to 9 points is big.
Yeah. Coach, how do you make about the way that just the ball movement has evolved for the team over the course of the season? It seems like there's been a lot more passing lately.
What was our assist tonight? 17. When we got offensive talent, when we share the ball, we're hard to defend. And they're the fifth best team metrically in the country defensively. So we're hard to defend when we execute and share the ball and we have proper spacing. We got guys can shoot. And if we'd have shot it, well, there was a stretch where they couldn't score at the beginning of the half, and we were executing and we were missing wide open shots. Or it would have gotten blown open way earlier. But we were expending a lot. When you expend a lot of energy on defense, it tends to affect your legs with your shooting a little bit. But Sky was, I knew it was going to happen. See over there? Trent was, these guys, Sky did not miss a shot. He looked like Reggie Miller in shoot around. We were running, it was a joke. And I wanted him to please start missing. When that happens, the guy never replicates it that night in the game. In my experience, it's always a jinx. Always.
Coach, you talked about
suit on tonight.
always a suit.
Wow, it's big time.
Big time.
I see the socks too.
Yeah.
We'll stop.
You talked about your team's fight leading to victory tonight.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about Eric Daly, the other Eric, and
Yeah.
mental fortitude and everything
Yeah,
he brings?
6
in a night like
deflections. Guys, we had, you weren't, I didn't see you guys. We had 10 deflections in the Minnesota game. 10. Not all-time low. Maybe in the history of the Hubie Brown and every guy that worked for Coach Pitino that charts him. Eric had 6 deflections and 8 rebounds. That's all I care about. Everybody else cares about his points. His defense and his rebounding and his toughness will give him a chance to play beyond here. Not his shooting. It's not. It's not. So, but it's a fight to get these guys to listen to us this day and age. But he was awesome tonight with his toughness. The guys were all, it's contagious. It's why Sam Hoiberg's Defensive Player of the Year, and they play the way they play, because Sam Hoiberg leads the country in diving on the floor, and his teammates follow. And Burke's had a great year for them. I love Burke. Found a great fit. He's in the right system for him. He's got great toughness. But they're, you know, again, wasn't their night, but they've had a great season, and it's a credit to their players and their attitude and their coach. Thanks, guys.